What is up, guys? Fell-handed Hefe here. Today we are in the Marblehead. We're back from vacation. We're getting right back into it. This is, however, a little bit of an older footage, and that's fine. We kind of have a massive archive we're trying to go through a little bit at the time here. This is a Tier 4 Marblehead. This was in the Founders Pack. We have a couple of videos of this up already, and this is kind of the premium version of the Omaha, so to speak. It still retains a lot of the, more or less everything, actually, of the Omaha. The blazing fast DPM, guns on every side. If you're going fore aft, you're going to get 5 guns on somebody. This was one of my favorite ships. Not necessarily my favorite American cruiser so far, as we all know, that's Pensacola. However, this ship, much like the Pensacola, it doesn't have the Alpha, it has the DPM, but it is a floating citadel of sadness. So it teaches you how to cruiser. If you want to learn how to cruiser, the Omaha, or in this case the Marblehead, is the way to go, because it teaches you how not to get shot. You have to really work those islands, because if you don't, you're going to have a bad time. Moving on. As you can see here, we have a gentleman up here to our 12 o'clock. We're trying to get the bow guns lined up on him here so we can kind of launch 5 rounds at a time versus the 2 or 3 we were launching. And that's the kind of tricky part when you're firing, bow on to someone, is to kind of get the ship actually lined up right, bow or aft on. Now, he did kind of touch us a little bit there, and that's fine. It's to be expected. It's going to happen. He's trying to help. We had a destroyer throw a cloud on us. A lot of times they think that's helping, but if we don't have anybody spotting targets and we can't shoot, then it's not really helping. That's what I'm there for. I am there to lay the hammer down on folks. And if you prohibit me from doing that, then I am not as effective as I would normally be. So, just a kind of, if it's a situation where it's life or death, or, they're going to go out and they need to reposition, what have you, then yes, by all means throw a cloud, whatever. So that's just kind of my take on it. The first volley there, folks, I have no idea where that went. It looks like every round just went behind him. I don't know why. It is not mine to call, I guess. We're going to put some rounds on this gentleman right here. Getting some good defended medals right off the jump. DPM's really working for us. We're going to try to go 1/4 here. Bring her about full left so we can get some good shots on target here. Especially all the, give him a proper broadside. We're citadeling the mess out of this poor individual. And that's the thing, guys. You have to be very, very careful, because even, the Marblehead / Omaha can get citadeled from the front, aft. I mean, pretty much anywhere. So you really, really, really have to be extremely cautious. And this is kind of the flip side versus a lot of your Japanese stuff. A lot of your Japanese stuff tends to be very, very crunchy. Some of the German stuff even does tend to be a little crunchier than the American stuff as well. It just seems like the cruisers are kind of either going to be your Alpha or your DPM monsters, and that's fine, because it's really working out for us. We do happen to still be on this cloud, but you know what? You can't ever assume somebody's just going to pull up and set a cloud for you, folks. You need to go out there, you need to get your own damage, and you need to work these islands. Same thing we've always said before. And you kind of have to keep your head on a swivel, because you don't want to go out here and, pull out and there be sitting, 2 or 3 ships there to tee off on you. And I think we've all done it. And, sometimes I'll get out there and I'll forget I'm in a cruiser. I'll be playing DDs all day, and I'll just drive right out there, assuming, I'm 5.8, 6 kilometer detection range, and they'll see me from low Earth orbit. So you really just kind of have to know what you're playing there. So we're raining some hatred in on this gentleman, and it's going pretty good for us. We've got a decent amount of damage. We're 35k in. A lot of times, folks, that you'll see that little mountain indicator in your reticle there, to the right of your reticle, and it says, hey, you know, there's a mountain there, but you know, you can fire and some of your rounds can actually connect. So the shot obstructed isn't necessarily, you know, scripture, so to speak. Alright, so anyway, moving on. We're getting some good citadels there. We're up to 45k, and we're making it happen. This guy's just giving us his broadside. We're teeing off on him. Now, granted, of course, we're giving the broadside as well, but we are kind of taking cover, so to speak, versus kind of being out there in the open. Not that I have any indications of how this was in a real fight on the sea, but it's fine. It's what we're working with. It's what we're used to. We're going to make it happen. We're going to send the last volley there. We're decorating, still getting some defended ribbons there, and that gentleman is toast. It took a little bit of, just a touch of damage right there, and we're still making excellent use of this island. Now, this isn't the type of island we can necessarily fire over, but that's fine. We're just going to pull in front, pull behind, whatever, and keep, you know, laying some rounds on target. We had some torps go by there, or 12 o'clock, so we do have some folks thinking about us, and that's fine. We don't necessarily want to be completely written off as a non-threat. So we're out here, we're doing things, we're making things happen. We're going to see if we can maybe launch some torps at this gentleman. Maybe see if we can get him to connect. He's got problems in his life. He's on fire. A lot of stuff going on there. You can see some rounds ranging in. They're a little short, those other ones. It looks like they came in. Ours are doing pretty good on target. He is firing at us, and we had already started moving backwards, so it was kind of a glancing blow, so to speak. Still putting some rounds on target. Looks like the other gentleman firing with us managed to get his rounds on target as well. And as far as damage goes, we're doing okay. We're up to 50. I can't really tell because it's kind of grayed out in the sky there. 55,000, I think. Yep, 55,000. And we're making it happen. Now, however, this guy kind of here, we still need to get rid of him. He did take a torp hit, which is a good thing. And, you know, it looks like he's flooding because he probably used his kit earlier on a fire, which is kind of normal. And we're just going to kind of go ahead and DPM him to death here. Now, ideally, high explosive would be the way to go here in this particular case. I think I probably forgot what I was shooting now that I look back on this footage, because I was sitting there looking at it. I'm like, why am I shooting that? Yeah, I don't know. But initially, ideally, you want to shoot high X into the side of that gentleman right there. You want to set him on fire, let him burn his kit, hit him with torps. Flood damage. That's the way to go. Because, you know, flood damage, it does so much more than fire damage. And then, you know, once he uses his kit and, you know, you can hit him with a torp, you can get him flooding, then you can catch him on fire again, then he's really screwed. He's taken multiple types of reoccurring damage, which is definitely the way to go. Especially when you have these, you know, monsters out here with tons and tons and tons of HP. Moving on, 75,000 damage. We're out here making it happen, you know, little old us. We're out here, we're doing things, we're making things happen. Got some rounds here. We're going to set up for this gentleman. Long range. Now, he is engaged. Now, folks, this is the best time you want to engage someone else. That was a heck of a shot. Is when they're already engaged. You never, you know, if you're in a fair fight, then you have done something wrong. You kind of need to think of this as kind of like a DD type fight. Because, you know, if you go into somebody in a fight with a DD, you kind of want to have the advantage. You know, as far as, I'm not referencing torpedoes or anything. I'm just saying, you know, if you're going in there with guns and you're against a cruiser, then that's not a good thing. You kind of want to have two DDs versus a cruiser. You want to have an unfair advantage as much as possible. And that's kind of the situation where I'm referring to, you know, you need to fire on targets that are engaged. You need to fire on targets that, you know, have their guns the opposite way of you. You know, if you have to take them head on like we were earlier, make sure to use cover. You have to use all of these things on this map, even other allies, to your advantage in order to win and get out there and do your damage. And that's kind of what we're doing here, and that's, you know, what I'm trying to communicate to you folks, is you have to get out here and make your own damage. But at the same time, you don't necessarily want to leave any resources behind, so to speak. In other words, if there's allies out there who can take shots for you instead of you taking the shots, let them take the shots. Let them bend that corner, what have you. And it kind of not necessarily comes into play a whole lot when you're dealing with cruisers. You know, DDs, for example, if somebody bends a corner and there's 3 ships sitting there and you're detected or they've got radar on you, you're kind of screwed. But that's kind of the same thing I'm talking about. You just have to make smart decisions, and that's what we're working on here. We're trying to get everybody to make smart decisions. Alright, speaking of smart decisions, I have managed to switch back to high X. Glory be. We caught somebody on fire there, up to 77,000. We're making it happen. We're not necessarily setting the world on fire, although we are trying. We've got some good shots here. It looks like the guy kicked the power off there just at the last second. And, I mean, it was fine, though. He ended up dying anyway, which is kind of the goal. We're trying to see if we can clutch this here. I'm not really 100% sure it's going to happen. We're going to see if we can decorate this gentleman right here. Managed to get a defended ribbon. Didn't do a whole ton of damage, which is kind of, sad, really, because we were really hoping we could lay the hammer down on him. We are still shooting AP, and the only time I would really recommend shooting AP is if you're positive you can get through the front of the armor, or you're in such a case where you're shooting a gun with ridiculous penetration, like the Pensacola. Now, granted, of course, I wouldn't necessarily try to overpin a battleship in the front or the aft. Well, maybe the aft, but that's just not a good look, because they have just enormous armor and so on and so forth. But other cruisers, what have you, yes, definitely you could get out there and get in the front of it. In this particular case, I think we just probably got lucky as far as penetrating him through the front of the ship there. Okay, we have one gentleman left here on the map. We're going to see if we can't get rid of him. It's looking like it's going to be a little bit of a hard fight here. We're still throwing AP here. I'm not really sure. This video possibly might have been so old that I was unaware of what to shoot at what, and I think that may be what we have going on here. Speaking of shooting what at what, if you guys will remind me and stay on me, I will make a video showing what you need to shoot at what. Kind of like we discussed there, what DDs need to shoot at each different ship, and what battleships need to shoot, and so on and so forth. I need to make a few different instructional videos, how to citadel, so on and so forth. And I just kind of need to get off my butt here. I've got back from vacation. It's the perfect time. So help me out here, folks. And mention it in the stream there if you want as well. Or message me or something. Just get the point across to me somehow. Okay, now we're going to back out here. We're going to try to torp this gentleman. That is kind of the plan. We have to be a little cautious here. Now we're going full reverse. And the idea is we're going to throw the torps and then immediately hit the gas. He just annihilated somebody. It's not a good look for us here, but we're hoping we can get him. We have to be really careful, because if this guy sees us, he's just going to obliterate us. And that is not what we want. And we're kind of afraid he may kill us before the torps get there. And I don't necessarily have a whole bunch of different torps to shoot. I don't have multiple launchers. I've just got the one on each side. So we're trying to play it very, very safe. And, I'm afraid I'm going to see him, I'm going to launch torps, and then he's going to kill me. And they're never going to get there. So let's see what happens. I don't know. Hopefully the timer will run out if that's that. But, we've had a decent game so far. We've got 95k. There he is right there. We're going to go ahead and throw torps, and then he's probably going to annihilate me. Here comes the rounds. It's not a good look. Oh, yeah, it didn't happen. We're setting him on fire. His secondaries are going off. Torps are looking pretty. Man, Torps are looking pretty. It is not going to be... He is not going to have a good time here. And he managed to kill me before the Torps got there. But yeah, all three of those would have hit him. 96,000 damage, 315,880 credits silver, whatever it is in this game. Guys, I really hope you enjoy. Make sure to check the stream Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. Let me know if you'd like to join me. We will catch you guys next time.